Alright guys, so here's my 2010 Suzuki Burgman 650. Not the executive, just the regular model. You can see it's an oil change. So a couple videos out there. I'm not sure if that oil change light goes out once you do the oil change or if there's something else you have to do, but just real quick video how to do the oil change. And so here we go. Okay, so actually mine's an 09. It was built in November of 2008, so it's probably a 2009 model. So you have to remove this cover, of course. There's just a Phillips head screw there, and then there's these little tabs that there's actually a little divot here that you can reach in and pull up, so they unclip. And this is the, and that's it. You can see the plastic clip there, and you just go ahead and remove this cover. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. Alright, so cover's off, and I do apologize about the shadow. So I'm trying to move the bike over. It's kind of a cool, breezy morning, but this little diagram shows you where it's supposed to be filled up to. This has a wet clutch, so that's the clutch, and then that's the rear. So another video I saw, they said to remove this plastic, but when you look underneath, this is the oil plug, the oil drain plug. The oil filter is actually right here, which you can see, and then the sight is through this little. And mine, I don't know if you can see it, but it's definitely low. It's probably well overdue the oil change, as you can see by the change oil light. But I'm going to try to do it without removing this plastic. So here we go. So you know, I ordered this kit on eBay. This is all basically OEM. You can see it's Suzuki brand. Part number for the oil filter. They send you 4 quarts of oil. They send a little funnel to fill up the oil, and drain plug gasket, and about 4 quarts of 1040 weight X-Star oil. So this is what I'm going to put in the bike today. Alright, so 17 millimeter socket. All I did was loosen it up, and I have my little oil pan, which is basically a cat litter box. So yeah, do this. Of course, unscrew this out of there, drain the oil, hopefully not make a mess. There we go. So you can see that came out pretty easy. There's the oil, the drain plug gasket that's going to get replaced, and so you can see that is where you add the oil. So I'm trying to take a peek into the, you can kind of see it in there. I didn't really show any oils, but it's probably bad, so I think I've been running low for a while. So I just went and grabbed a paper towel and started to clean this off, and I noticed that they do have a magnet. You can see this is the metal that's coming out of the engine, so it's nice that they have that, but kind of concerning that I do have metal shavings in there. So I'm going to clean it up and of course replace, like I said, this little drain plug gasket, and put it back together and hopefully fill it up correctly. And if there's something else I need to do to change that oil change light, I will figure that out and show you that on the video also. Okay, so here I am trying to remove the oil filter. Now the oil filter, there's kind of not a lot of room between the plastic and the oil filter because of how tight they put it on. The videos that I've seen, they said to turn it 2 turns after it makes contact with the gasket. I use my largest channel lock pliers. Of course, I probably put a couple dents in there, but I can't get enough leverage to turn it. So I probably will have to remove this plastic just to get enough clearance in there to get my hands around there, get the wrench around there and remove it properly. So here we go. Okay, so in order to remove this plastic fairing or lower portion of the plastic, you have to remove both foot pads, and these are just basically little rubber, so just kind of, you know, yank them off carefully. There's these little push through pins here that are holding some of this, so those, all I did was push the needle through, or the center part through, and then you know, they can just pop right out. So one of them was already damaged, but you don't have to struggle trying to pop those out. You just push them all the way through, and the journey continues. So I'm assuming I have to unscrew these parts to get these bolts off of here. So next part. All right, so just so you guys know, to remove this plastic, you don't have to remove these 3 screws here. You don't have to remove any of these larger 10mm bolts, right? You have to remove, there's a screw here, there's another one that's down here, and there's one right here. The other thing I'll show you is there's another one of those pop through at the bottom by the kickstand, so just make sure you pull that one off. And there's the one that was causing me a little bit of a headache. You can see that's where one of the screws goes. These 3 are the pop-up ones, right? And then there's a front screw. So, and then these here in the middle will just slide right out. So these are just going to slide into these little tabs here. So just be careful when you're pulling it apart that it's not, you're not pushing pressure down. You're just pulling it straight out. So the other thing is my oil filter. Now that I have the room, you can see how nicely destroyed I have it with the wrench. But clockwise tightens it on, counterclockwise releases it. So I've loosened it up, and yeah, it was super tight on there. So yeah, I guess on my 2009 you do have to remove this. Also try to do it when it's not windy. As you can see, the wind is making a mess on here with this oil, just blowing the crap everywhere. So now I'm gonna have to clean up this mess, or do it indoors where you're not gonna have to deal with this mess. So there is the oil filter. Oops. Dang it. Well, I just made more of a mess, so I definitely have to clean up now. But yeah, and like I said, right now I'm just using this old cat litter box, which dollar store. It did come with that funnel, but again, I have this one. For some reason, the funnel that they send is square. This one sits right in there. Same thing, nice dollar store bargain. So let me drain all this crap out of here and reinstall. Okay, so cleaned up a little bit. The other thing you want to be careful of is when you remove this, these little things that you push through are going to go right in there, except for this one. So I have to fish these out, reuse them. I have to buy probably a couple, because a couple of them are pretty much disintegrated, as you can see. So yeah, not bad. So far I've been at it for about 30 minutes. This kit that I bought online, bunch of sellers are selling. I think I got the cheapest one, which is like $54, free shipping, tax probably came out to right around $60. So not sure what the dealership charges, but didn't want to have to go drop it off. It's just a hassle to go drop off bike and then go get picked up and stuff like that. They don't. It's not like a Jiffy Lube where they just go and do it in 30 minutes. So here I am tackling it. It is pretty much drained. I'm gonna go ahead and put a little bit of oil in the oil filter gasket, and that one, of course, is just going to be hand tightened. This is a 17 millimeter there. Let me put the new gasket. Gasket's kind of, it's bigger than what was on there, so I'm gonna just start filling in slowly. Maybe put half a quart, let it sit for about 10 minutes, make sure it's not leaking, and if it's not, then keep adding. So yeah, all right, here we go. All right, so oil filter is on there. I'm gonna let the oil pan drip out. While I do that, I'm gonna take advantage and clean up this mess. Already, evidently at some point, and I bought this used, of course, so somebody hit the curb somewhere, and this damage was already done. The original owner had dropped it. He said it was in the garage, and oh well, the other day somebody stole it from my house and then went and dropped it off down the street. Not sure what the heck they were looking for, but that's probably where some of that damage came from. They also ended up cracking my front fairing, which I just ended up gluing back together again. So it's not too bad, but was not happy. But yeah, I don't keep anything in the scooter. The trunk was locked, and somebody decided to come take it off my front porch. So sight glass is there. You can see it nice and clear now. There is a separate wet clutch which uses the same motor oil, and evidently these are not together, so I'm not sure if this is the drain plug for this one. I'm not going to mess with this right now. It does come with 4 quarts of oil, but according to this, you can see it uses about 2,600 milliliters for this one and 360 for the wet clutch. Of course, a liter is what, or a quart is around 950, so 2 of these are around what, 1,900. So 19, if we add another 500, so basically around 2.5 quarts is just what the motor should take. So that's what I'm going to do. I said, once I put the drain plug, I'm going to, it looks like it's already stopped dripping, so I'm going to put the drain plug back in and put about half a quart or a quart in there, make sure it's not leaking, and then if it's good, then keep adding. So you can see the difference. This is the drain plug gasket that was on there, and this is what came, and you can see it's really not very tight, but this one is really, you almost have to unscrew it off of the drain plug. So hopefully have no issues, but I'm going to tighten it up pretty well. The oil filter, I just basically hand tighten that as tight as I could go, so shouldn't have any issues with that one. Alright, so quart has been added. I don't see anything dripping or anything, so looks good. And cleaned up my fairing as well as I could. I could probably remove all this if I really wanted to put some elbow grease into it, but really not visible in like this portion here. But again, doesn't bother me. It rides great. best errand runner you can get is one of these little things, because even with my weight, I still get about 43 miles per gallon. So yeah, so I'm gonna keep adding oil, and I'll turn it on maybe after I add the second one, and make sure that doesn't leak, and then add that final half quart. Alright, so I've added the second quart, but I don't know if you can see, it's not even visible on the sight glass yet. So I'm going to add, so that was about what, 1900, and this has about 850, so I need to get it to around 450. So I'm going to add enough, so right below that 16 is left in this thing. So yeah, hopefully that'll do the trick. All right, so you can see I've added right around 2,600 milliliters, and this is where I'm showing my reading. You know, it's just below medium, or the middle. So I'm wondering if probably this has to be read while the bike is flat on the ground and not with the back wheel on the kickstand. So I'm going to turn it on for a little bit, let it run, let it warm up. I'll drop it till it's flat on the ground, and then look at the sight glass then. Okay, so I let it run for a couple minutes. You can see, and actually right now I have it on the ground, back tire on the floor. Now you can't even see the oil, so not sure why it says 2,600 milliliters when it obviously takes more than that. So I'm going to add more while it's down in this position and get it to the full line, because the bike's probably not even lukewarm at this point. Okay, so third quart was completely added, and you can barely see, like I said, it's on the lower side. Doesn't make a huge difference whether the bike is up or down. I'm going to run it like this, let it warm up for a little bit, and then drop it again, and if it still needs more, so clearly it takes more than 2,600 milliliters to fill up. So luckily that's probably why they send the 4 quarts. So yeah. Okay, so I have my owner's manual here, and as you can see, oil with oil change with filter change is actually 3.1 quarts, so not 2,600 milliliter, which I'm not sure why they would even post that. I don't know anybody that changes oil without changing the filter, but whatever. And then according to this, the oil filter is supposed to be torqued to about 4.5 pound-feet torque. Like I said, all I did was pretty much tighten it up, hand tight as I could go. The one thing I did notice, and you see I can let it turn it on, is nice. Did get it to temperature, but that oil change light is still on, so I gotta find somewhere. I couldn't find anything that said how to turn that light off. So with 3 quarts, you cannot see anything on the sight glass. Luckily, no leaks. So I'm gonna put a little bit more, and hopefully get it to where it says full, and put it back together again. Alright, so I have about 625 milliliters. You can see right now I am almost at the very top, so have not turned it on. So you can barely see it at the bottom. That's where it's going to stay. I'll check it out after I ride it a couple times. But yeah, I got to figure out how to turn that oil change light on off.